Welcome to the deep dive. We've got a stack of sources here that detail a truly shocking family story. It's about ambition, a deep conspiracy, and what happens when a mother is pushed to the absolute edge.
And we are jumping into this material right at the moment of crisis.
Exactly. We're starting in media res at the St. Regis Hotel. It's a lavish Buckhead wedding reception, and it's just completely collapsing into chaos.
And at the center of it is Zenobia Washington. She's 59, the mother of the groom, and she is just standing there dripping.
Dripping with piping hot seafood gumbo, thrown directly in her face by the new mother-in-law, Serafina Vance.
Zenobia talks about the heat, the public humiliation, but the real sting, the thing that cut deeper than the burn, were Serafina's words.
So cold, just that is what you deserve.
But that wasn't even the ultimate wound. The real betrayal, the moment everything crystallized, was her own son's reaction. Orion.
He's at the head table, he crosses his arms and just says, flatly, "She's right, Mama." And that's it. That's the point of no return. But here's the thing about Zenobia. She doesn't scream. She doesn't fight back.
No, her dignity in that moment is, it's stunning. She wipes her face, turns, and walks right out of that ballroom.
And just before she leaves the hotel, she pulls out her phone, she hits a pre-dialed number and says just 3 words.
It is time.
It is time.
So our mission today, for you, is to unpack the anatomy of that single moment. We need to go back to understand the decades of sacrifice, the slow, insidious campaign of humiliation she went through.
And the devastating financial conspiracy she uncovered.
Exactly. We're going to break down the highly calculated, and I mean painful justice she sought for herself. A kind of justice that let the whole thing implode without her ever having to light the fuse herself.
Okay, so let's get into that emotional capital first. Because to understand how Orion could fail so completely, you have to understand the foundation Zenobia built for him.
You really do. She raised him all alone in Atlanta's West End. His father was gone by the time he was 5.
And her whole life became about work. She ran a small tailoring shop, right? A fine tailoring shop.
Yes, specializing in things like wedding gowns, prom dresses, and the sources describe this life of just extreme dedication.
It says she sewed until her fingers bled on her grandmother's old Singer machine.
She did, and all of that pain, all of that work was funneled into one single goal: putting Orion through Morehouse College so he wouldn't owe anyone anything.
It wasn't just paying the bills, it was a total sacrifice of herself for his future.
And, on the surface, it worked. He graduated with honors, got a great job at a top real estate firm.
And he would say all the right things. He called her his hero. He'd say, "Everything I am is because of you."
All right, so that establishes this enormous emotional debt. So when the betrayal comes, the question isn't just how he could do it, it's how he could discard the very person who built him from the ground up.
That's a great point. And maybe we should pause there. Zenobia makes his success the singular purpose of her life. Is it possible that that level of, absolute sacrifice actually created a kind of entitlement in him?
I think that's exactly what the material suggests. Her unconditional love, her sacrifice, it was rooted in love, but it unintentionally created the conditions for his moral failure.
So when something easier came along?
When an easier path presented itself, a path free of the grit and the work that she represented, he was psychologically ready to take it. He saw her love as a foundation he could just climb off of, not a bond he had to honor.
And that easier path has a name: Clementina, the fiancée, the only daughter of this wealthy Buckhead family.
Described as pretty polite, but cold. That word comes up a lot.
And this is where Serafina Vance, the mother, starts her campaign. It begins with these really subtle, strange little cracks.
Like Clementina always calling her Miss Zenobia.
Right. It's polite on the surface, but it's really about distance, isn't it? It's about marking her as an outsider from day one.
And then comes the dinner, the real moment of clarity at Serafina's huge, cold Buckhead house. She moves from subtle digs to something much more aggressive.
She leans in and basically tells Zenobia that Orion needs to focus on his new family, that he needs to fly alone without strings, without emotional dependencies.
The subtext being, you are a burden, you are an emotional dependency, a drag on his potential.
And Orion's reaction in that moment is everything. He just sits there, head down, keeps eating.
That silence. Zenobia says his refusal to defend her, that was his first real act of betrayal. It was his participation in her humiliation.
And then Serafina gives her a gift to really drive the point home.
A gift. A fine china teacup. Beautiful, expensive.
But cold and unused. Zenobia realized later it was a message.
A very deliberate one. You don't belong in our world.
And Zenobia contrasts that perfectly with her own mug, right? Her old stoneware mug.
The one that knew the taste of my life.
Yeah, it's the whole conflict right there. The empty transactional china cup versus the mug that represents real life, real work, real love.
From there, the campaign just ramps up. It moves into isolation. Orion's visits become less and less frequent.
Always an excuse, right? Lunch at the club with Serafina, wedding details with Clementina. He's just slowly erasing her from his day-to-day life.
And then the humiliation becomes public, professional even. Zenobia is an expert tailor. She makes wedding gowns for a living.
And she's invited to the wedding dress shopping.
Only to be completely shut down. She offers some expert advice, and Clementina's friends just laugh at her. Serafina insists the dress is perfect, reinforcing that Zenobia knows nothing. It's so painful to read.
Then comes the financial test.
Yes. Orion invites her to dinner, and Clementina is there, which is significant. And then he asks to borrow $2,000 for wedding expenses.
Money she never sees again.
And that's the moment the relationship fundamentally shifts for her.
She realizes she's not his mother anymore. She's been demoted. She's hit his bank, his safety net, his plan B.
She's just a resource, not a person.
But even that wasn't the whole story. The true horror shows up a few weeks before the wedding.
An anonymous manila envelope.
Inside, there are photographs.
Photographs of Orion and Serafina, her son, and his future mother-in-law being intimate, leaving the St. Regis, entering hotels.
Hugging on a balcony like two lovers who have shared something forbidden.
Can you even imagine to realize that the person orchestrating your public humiliation is also secretly involved with your son?
That double betrayal. It's just, I mean, how do you even process that?
Well, for Zenobia, it brought a kind of terrible clarity. She knew instantly this wasn't just some sordid affair, this was the engine, this was the why. Serafina's betrayal of her own daughter was the tool she was using to betray Zenobia.
And that meant she had to act immediately.
So she hires a private investigator, Booker Hughes.
And what he uncovers is, it's not just an affair, it's a full-blown financial and legal conspiracy.
A breathtaking one. Hughes confirms the affair had been going on for a year and a half.
A year and a half, so it started before Orion and Clementina were even engaged.
Exactly. This was premeditated. This was a plan from the very beginning.
And the bank statements gave her the motive.
Oh, yeah. Regular, huge transfers. $10,000, $20,000, and one payment for $50,000.
$50,000.
From Serafina's personal account straight into Orion's, he wasn't just having an affair, he was on the payroll.
That money bought his silence. It bought his cooperation.
It bought everything, and Hughes figured out why they were so desperate. The family's wealth, it was all a facade.
Just a very well-constructed facade.
Her husband, Reginald, was basically bankrupt. The hardware business was collapsing, and there were 3 mortgages on that big Buckhead house. They needed cash, and they needed it fast.
Which brings us to the darkest part of this whole thing, the inheritance trap.
We have to be really clear about how this worked. Clementina had an inheritance from her grandmother, something like $4 to $5 million.
And it was locked away in a trust.
A trust specifically designed to keep it away from her parents' financial problems. The money would only be released to her upon marriage.
But there was another clause, wasn't there?
There was. A truly criminal detail. The trust stated that if Clementina were to die while married, the entire inheritance would pass directly to her spouse.
To Orion.
To Orion. So this wasn't about waiting for a will. This was a fast track to millions of dollars. It gave them a massive, immediate, and terrifying incentive for foul play.
So, okay, the bank transfers lay out the financial motive. But the audio recording, that just changes the entire game. It goes from fraud to something much, much worse.
It really does. This final piece of evidence from Hughes, this illegal audio recording from Serafina's apartment, this is what takes it into the realm of conspiracy to commit murder.
And the dialogue is just chilling. Orion is nervous. He's asking, what if Clementina finds out?
And Serafina's just so manipulative. She says Clementina's foolish. She only sees what she wants to see, and then she lays out the plan.
In plain language.
Horrifyingly plain. You marry her, wait a year, maybe 2, and then things happen. Accidents happen.
Accidents happen. Wow.
And the final nail in the coffin for Zenobia, the mother who gave him everything, was hearing her son's voice on that tape, agreeing.
Okay, I'll do what you ask.
That's it. Proof. Her son was actively plotting murder for money. And that just raises this profound question, right? What do you do?
What do you do? You have the evidence to send your own child to prison for I mean, for a very, very long time.
And Zenobia decided she couldn't be the mother who did that, but she also couldn't let him get away with it.
So she found another way, a third path.
She contacted Cornelius Estrada, Clementina's 82-year-old grandfather, the man who set up the trust in the first place and who absolutely despised Serafina's lies.
And he respected Zenobia, didn't he? Because she was a person who works with her hands.
Exactly. She was real. So she shows him everything, the photos, the bank statements, the audio recording.
And they make a deal.
A very precise deal. Zenobia will go to the wedding. She will wait for Serafina to publicly show her true face. And then she'll make the call.
And Cornelius, with all his money and power, would bring the hammer down.
Swiftly. Get Clementina out, freeze the trust, and then file the criminal complaint. Fraud, extortion, and the big one. Conspiracy to commit murder. And that brings us right back to where we started. The wedding reception.
Zenobia is there, seated in the back. She's watching Orion and Serafina share this complicit, intimate smile. She says she bit her lip through the vows about truth and trust.
I can't even imagine. And the confrontation, it was so calculated, it was designed to force Serafina to act.
The mother-son dance. Zenobia leans in and just quietly lists the evidence. I have photographs, I have hotel records, I have bank statements, I have recordings.
And Orion panics, he stops dancing, he denies it all.
And that's Serafina's cue. She intervenes, she grabs that bowl of gumbo.
And in that one act, she publicly confirms everything. Her violence, her control, her hatred, and Orion seals it.
She's right, Mom.
And that was it. Zenobia had what she needed. Serafina had shown her true face, just like the plan required.
So she wipes her face, walks out with that incredible dignity, and makes the call.
It is time.
And Cornelius' response was, tactical. At 11 p.m., he shows up at the St. Regis with lawyers and 2 police cars.
Clementina faints when she sees the evidence. Serafina's denials are completely useless against that audio recording, and the police take her away.
And Orion is just left there, paralyzed in his groom suit.
In the middle of his ruined wedding reception, he leaves the hotel alone at 2 in the morning, having lost everything. The wife, the money, the reputation.
And Zenobia never had to be the one to hand him over to the police. She just set the pieces in motion and let the consequences happen.
So 2 years later, Zenobia looks back on all this, and you can tell it was the hardest thing she's ever done.
Weeks after the wedding, Orion shows up at her shop. He's completely destroyed. He's lost his job, his status, everything.
And he's desperate. He tries to blame Serafina, of course.
But then he blames Zenobia too. He says she made me feel guilty by being the mirror of his poverty. That's a classic defense mechanism, isn't it?
It's pure rationalization. He's reframing her sacrifice as a source of shame for him, to justify what he did. It's an attempt to blame her for his own choices.
And Zenobia's response is the most painful, but maybe the most loving thing she could do.
She refuses to let him stay. She sets a firm boundary. She tells him, if I rescue you now, you are never going to learn. You are never going to understand the weight of your decisions.
She let him fall.
She let him face the consequences. Meanwhile, the legal system does its work. Serafina gets 12 years in prison.
Reginald loses the house, ends up in a rented room.
But the really heartwarming part of the aftermath is Clementina. She recovers, she starts studying psychology, which feels so fitting.
And she visits Zenobia to thank her.
Yeah.
She calls Zenobia the mother my own mother never was.
It shows that Zenobia's actions didn't just bring justice, they protected an innocent person.
And what about Orion?
Zenobia says he wrote a letter about 6 months ago. He's working in a factory, he's in therapy, he's trying to be a better man.
And he finally gets it. He writes, "You didn't let me fall out of hate. You let me fall out of love, and that was the greatest gift you could give me."
That's his first real step, that understanding. And Zenobia says she's found peace. She learned that a mother's love has limits, or rather, that it shouldn't have conditions that allow for abuse.
And the stoneware mug, the one that knows the taste of her life, is still on her counter. The cold china cup is long gone.
Her story is just this incredible testament to dignity. She didn't seek revenge, she sought a kind of systemic correction.
The truth set Zenobia free, but it left Orion with absolutely nothing but the choice to rebuild himself from scratch.
Which brings us to the final thought we want to leave you with. If this tough love was Zenobia's greatest gift to Orion, what measure of personal penance, what proof of genuine change must he achieve before this story can move from justice to reconciliation? What defines enough in the face of such a profound betrayal, enough for a mother to finally write back?